Economy, the 21st of August 2025, and today I have the pleasure of hosting Dane, Cloudflare's Chief Technology Officer. Dane has been at Cloudflare since the early days, almost 14 years if I'm not mistaken, helping launch products like Workers, R2, and now Workers AI. He recently stepped into the CTO role, succeeding the longtime predecessor, John Graham Cumming, who joined the board to steer Cloudflare's developer platform security and AI strategy across a global networks of 33 sites. Have I missed something?
No, that was a great intro. Thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for hopping along. We've been using Cloudflare in Stream Elements for the last 9 years, and the running joke is every one of us has stocks in the company because we love it so much. So every time we come and talk with you, we say, keep doing the job. We are now investors as well. We've been using Cloudflare for, I think, 7 services by now, and it's becoming really hard to define Cloudflare. How are you defining it these days?
Oh, I mean, so I've always thought of Cloudflare like our core product is our network. And whether we're doing infrastructure protection, whether we're protecting users and devices from the rest of the internet, whether it's zero trust products, or the developer platform where we're giving you kind of primitives to build on top of the network your own applications. And so when you define the product as more than network, I really kind of think of it as the connectivity cloud. We are the place where you can build things, you can use our products to stitch together the rest of the cloud. We sit at the center of traffic in all directions. We make it easy for you to use it programmably to do really whatever you want with the platform for transforming those bits and delivering them and defining your application logic there. So it's really about connectivity.
When you started at Cloudflare like 14 or 13 years ago, I still remember Cloudflare as a cybersecurity company, as a company that we've been using to prevent DDoS attacks and other wrongdoing by bad actors. And I don't even know how or when to put the finger on when I started looking at Cloudflare as, I don't know, AWS competitor, as the leading edge player in the world right now. When do you think that happened, the switch?
Well, so I think really people started to see that once we released the Workers, our serverless compute platform, and people started to realize, oh, it's not just a product that you buy and put sites behind it or put your servers behind it. It's actually it's something that can be built in a way where you can deploy any type of applications. You can deploy code. And I think that's kind of when that kind of transformation happened. And we kind of got there because we actually needed a platform for ourselves to be able to increase engineering velocity inside the company. Cloudflare loves to ship new products, and we needed a more efficient way to do it. As we were we're about 6 or 7 years in, and you start to build up a huge customer base. You have legacy, and the processes that kind of got you there weren't going to get you there with the larger engineering teams. And so we're like, there must be a better way. And that's when we started to figure out, okay, well, what if we built a platform for our own teams to make it easier for them to develop and build it in a way that we can let everyone else in the world use it as well. Cloudflare's always been about kind of democratizing technologies for the masses. When we started, the major players in the infrastructure protection and CDN performance space, they had less than 10,000 customers, even less than that. If you weren't a Facebook and you couldn't sign a big check, you weren't going to get the ability to deliver your site fast from anywhere in the world. And so, we kind of viewed it as we're taking those technologies, those best practices for how to deliver great products and making it available for everyone. And everything we've done since then is about taking technologies that might have been less accessible for everyone else and making them available to the larger developer ecosystem.
Yeah, from our end, we started using Workers. We first learned of it, and we started looking for what we can do with it. It seemed like a very shiny toy that we wanted to play with, and then Netlify bill just went to the roof, and we said, okay, here's the first nail we are going to use with Workers, and we replaced Netlify by our own services using workers. I think 5.5 years ago, and since then, I'm just searching for other cool stuff to do with workers. And my personal feeling was you came a bit early to the market with the edge computing, but these days it seems apparent with the AI revolution and the ability to do stuff on the edge more than ever that Netlify is very well suited to conquer new grounds. But what exactly do you think are those new grounds?
Well, I think we've always been looking for a killer application to kind of bring the masses onto workers. And one of the hard things about workers is it's very opinionated. If you start a project on workers, it's very easy to deploy it and all that. But if you built something else and you want to go move it to workers, it's harder. It's we require you to do certain trade-offs in order to take advantage of Cloudflare. And those trade-offs are great. And you get cost savings, as you just mentioned, latency. You get simplicity of deployment. You get data localization, security. All those things come baked in, but they come with that trade-off of you have to build in a certain way. And when people have legacy applications, no one wants to just do work just for the fact of like saving a little money. They want to do work to build new features, create new things.
Yeah, there was 1 year where the CFOs all over the world said, listen, cut cost, and we're well past that year, so we need different excuses to play with workers.
Yeah, exactly. And so, when we started to release, do more stuff with AI last year, and we realized that, everything with AI is pretty much greenfield applications. And so, and we got very excited around the holidays, the end of last year about MCP, as Anthropic was starting to promote that. We realized that, the workers and durable objects were a perfect platform for that protocol. And we said, okay, well, if we can make it easy for people to deploy MCP, no one has an MCP, no one has a legacy there. So let's make it easy. And that's a great way for people to get introduced to the workers ecosystem. And that was just kind of like the tip of the iceberg for those use cases. And since then, with people building more and more agents and agentic AI and wanting to build applications that need to pull in data from everywhere, there's no better place to do it than Cloudflare with the connectivity to all the different sites as fast as possible. Whether you're connecting to the inference providers that already run through Cloudflare or the sites that run through Cloudflare as you need to kind of build up the workflows for the agentic AI. And then the fact that we give, an agent is usually a proxy of a user, of human. And, you want it to be running close to you. You want it to be secure. You want to have a ephemeral compute that can spin up fast and efficiently, and be running, as close to you as possible. And, the workers just kind of hit all those kind of check boxes and have seen just, huge success from that.
Do you see internally, do you search for ways to incorporate everything that you do? So for instance, you have R2 as a DB, and you have workers for compute, and you have other services like Warp for security. And us on our side, we combine them in a very Lego fashion into products. Do you search for these kind of offering as a bundle from your side, or you are content with, here are all the tools, we are shipping every month something new, here's something for email security, here's something for compute, here's something for storage. You do the Lego manufacturing? Or do you think in these days with vibe coding and so many products like Lovable that people want products out of the box? Do you think Cloudflare has a place in this new world, brave new world?
Well, at our core, we're an infrastructure provider, and we want to provide the best infrastructure and the primitives for people building applications. So in most cases, we want people to, we want Lovable and other companies like that to build on top of us, and we want to make all of them successful. And that grows the number of developers in the world, and whether they're interacting with us directly or whether they're interacting with us through an abstraction like Lovable. I think those are all net positives for us. So we're always going to start with what are the unique primitives that we can offer, and give those building blocks to everyone. And then, we do want to make it easier for people to get started and get going and understand how to piece all those things together. And we definitely can do a much better job there, and are working on ways to do that.
But by utilizing the community, by deploying more developer advocates, how do you better utilizing all of these infrastructure?
One is meeting developers where they are, whether it is better documentation, better community support over the whether it's Discord or X or Reddit, having more in-person meetups, better documentation, more demos, a lot more kind of show don't tell, but then also just meeting developers where they are from their experience perspective, whether it's they want to be command line, they want to be using any of the vibe coding platforms. How can we make it easy to meet them where they are? And so we did early things in our docs like llm.text, where we make it easy for the vibe coding platforms to understand how to build things on Cloudflare, or eating your own dog food, exposing MCP servers into your Cloudflare accounts, and hopefully that makes us more accessible to both everyone that's a developer today, and hopefully the next million developers that are learning how to code as we speak.
Well, I know at least one entrepreneur that in the last few weeks or months was struggling because of scale, and you or one of your team, and I think it was you, that jumped and helped him in the middle of a weekend, Liad Yosef, who just sold his brand new, was working for one company, sold while building it to another one, and in the middle, Cloudflare jumped and helped, and he scored a lot of points with the entrepreneurship community here in Israel. And it seems like even after 20 years, Cloudflare is still jumping the gun when it comes to helping entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah, I mean, we love our free products. We love bringing more people, giving them those tools so that they can build companies like that. I was very excited when he was able to sell his company. I'm very excited about the tools that they're building. I got excited for that project, and really just sort of said, hey, how can we help? And just kind of make sure he knew the tools that were out there. And in exchange, he gave great feedback. And that's kind of what we asked for there, is give us feedback and tell us how to make things better. And we are still just as much of a kind of bottoms up startup as we were 12 years ago. We just happen to also have a huge customer base, and across the largest enterprises in the world, down to the solo entrepreneur. And we want to make sure that we're serving everyone equally.
Do you see yourself as a competitor to GCPs, Azures, and AWS of the world with a $70 billion market cap? The market thinks you are, and at what point does everybody think so?
I think that we're going about it our own way. We're not building out huge data centers like they are. We are trying to help people with the workloads that we think make sense for us. And those number of workloads increase every year as we have more and more primitives, which obviously make us more competitive for taking customers from them. We think that we can do it in a much more economical way by leaning into what we do best, which is really utilization. We run our machines at 78% utilization when the average machines inside of Azure AWS is a fraction of that. And so you have to charge more for those things when you have all this compute sitting idle. But
I'm not sure you have to, but they do. The egress cost in AWS are, I think, the most telling sign of a rent seeker and not a rent creator. Amazon used to be, and when R2 emerged, the first thing I went to look are the egress costs, because That's a really telling sign.
Yeah, no, and in most cases, at least for the large providers, the egress costs are just nowhere near what's being charged. Obviously, there are some costs, but it's an order of magnitude less than what's being charged. And our goal is to increase utilization of the entire platform, and so don't want to put a barrier, a gatekeeper at the door like that.
Yeah, it's a great way to extract value for the big players in the market. Let's take a pause right now and talk a bit about you. You just got the position, and congratulations for that. After so many years in the company of the CTO, how do you see the position? Because I hosted I think maybe 100 CTOs by now in this podcast, and I'm CTO as well. And every person that you speak that got that position sees, at least in my feeling, sees the position differently. It's not very well defined, not here, not everywhere. How do you see it?
It's not that much different than what I was doing before at Cloudflare, or what I've always been doing at Cloudflare. For me, it's spending part of my time going out and talking with customers, and whether those customers are the entrepreneurs on Twitter that I'll DM with when I see them building something exciting, to talking with peer CTOs at some of the largest companies in the world, and that's a large part of the job. You want to be engaging your customers and learning from them, and getting feedback, and always improving there, and listening from a more of a technical product lens. The next part is, how can we continue to make Cloudflare, our mission is to build a better internet. And, I think we take that very seriously. And I think as the role of CTO, I think, it's part of my job is to make sure that we are fulfilling that mission, whether that is pushing technical standards, whether that is offering free services for in places where we can help keep it as a free and open internet, and making sure that all new employees understand why that mission is important. And and then obviously there's the standard CTO stuff, like making sure that the technical standards, the way we're building things, the culture, and I think that those things are a little more typical. And then at Cloudflare, I also run, we have kind of 3 horizons of engineering product. We have a core engineering product, which is all of our most of the products that you know about, and is majority of the revenue. Those teams are expected to ship on time, deliver, and build what the sales team needs and what the customers need. And then my teams focus more on kind of what's next as well. And so that's both a research team, which is a couple percentage of R&D, and then what we call emerging tech incubation, which is about another 10 to 12%. And each as you kind of get farther away from the core engineering, each of those other horizons should have a lower success rate, taking more shots on goal, and experimenting, and hopefully bringing new cool things to market, which the zero trust stuff came out of there, workers came out of there, and then from the research team, pushing things like post-quantum crypto, and just keeping our network and the internet as a whole healthy.
How do you split the responsibility when you have such a strong individuals on the innovation team, like James Allwood? That's the way they pronounce the name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a person that wrote the book with one of the best people in the world for innovation, and a person that I used to listen a lot when he hosted the Exponent podcast with Ben Thompson. Is one of the best people to talk with about strategy, and you have him on the innovation side, and you have so many strong people in the company. I got to assume trying to take the company, in this or that direction. So how do you decide on the strategy?
Well, I mean, the strategy is we'll take a lot of shots on goal. Like we don't try to gatekeep. If people have a good idea, and because of the platform so easy to build on, a couple engineers can go build something, and it's fine for them to go experiment and then get it out there and get feedback. And if it works, great. We invest behind that demand. If it doesn't, failure is celebrated as well.
When was the last time you killed the product?
What's that?
When was the last time you killed the product? You sunset something?
I think Matthew sunset something on Twitter a few weeks ago. I mean, we had early on partnered with Google on Google AMP, while we think there's some very interesting concepts there, and a lot of pitfalls as well. It's time, and it never really kind of had the success that we expected it to have. It was time to do that. But we do things in ways that we never leave customers out, and we're not going to turn off a feature that customers depend on and are excited about.
How do you measure the success of a product like a cooperation with Google AMP? Because it's not a product that you gain revenue or a lot of revenue out of. It creates value. Sites are coming up faster than the alternative. But how do you measure your success, and how do you decide if it's something that you want to continue doing or not?
Different products and different things have different reasons for success. Some of them are just about building a better internet, and do we think we're doing the right standards, and help pushing that forward. Sometimes revenue is a key factor, but usually adoption, how many people are using it, and the value they're receiving from it is really the leading indicator there.
And how do you set the guardrails, or just the point where you say, okay, this is stretching ourselves too thin? Because as you said, Cloudflare is a networking company. And for the very first time, I have a client of Cloudflare on my computer. I decided to switch, or our team decided to switch from Tailscale to Warp, and we are very pleased, and we love the product, but that's fresh, that's new. How did you take the decision to go one step forward into our PCs or Macs?
Well, it started. I mean, that actually started with back to the mission of helping build better internet. We've always wanted to encrypt more make sure all people's communications are encrypted and data secure. And when we launched Universal SSL over 10 years ago and doubled the encrypted internet overnight, we've always knew that there were still holes in there, and DNS was a big hole there. We wanted when we first launched Warp, it was actually not a full, not all your traffic. It was just your DNS traffic. It was launched when we launched 1.1.1, a year after we launched 1.1.1, and it was all about doing encrypted DNS. And that was before the devices had the ability to just enable it natively. And so that was kind of our first foray into that, was really just about solving the encrypted DNS problem. Then we got feedback on that. People kept on asking us for, well, can you do this? Can you do this? And then we had our Cloudflare Access product, which was kind of one side of securing users and devices and protecting assets. And we were kept on getting asked by customers, can you not just secure the access, and can you also be a remote network and provide all the security for all of our users from there. So it was it started from the right place of building a better internet, and customers gave us the feedback that was needed to turn into a product that is used by companies of all sizes.
You thinking about taking one step forward? Because I don't mind switching Tailscale to Warp. That's great. Maybe I can use Cloudflare instead of my EDR. Maybe I don't need SentinelOne or CrowdStrike. Maybe I don't need Cato networks. Maybe I can use Cloudflare for the entire stack.
I mean, I think there's places that we think that it makes sense to expand in, and places where partners do a great job. And I think a lot of the endpoint providers do a great job, and we partner very closely with them for like device posture that can connect back into Warp, and so I don't think we need to go into those spaces. But we want to do things where we think that we actually have a network advantage with our network, that we actually we can actually build a product better than someone else can because of our network advantage. And if it kind of falls outside of that, we really ask ourselves several times about why are we building this? Why can we do it better than someone else? And so most features you'll see will be around can we do something that no one else can do because of the network?
Like you're doing these days with the pay for crawl?
Yeah, pay per crawl. And that's also part of helping build a better net. If content providers don't get paid, people will stop writing content. There will be no kind of fuel for building the next set of models. Or even
data is not that hot. I don't think synthetic data is going to replace old-time media or Reddit so quick.
Yeah, but if they're not making any money, there's no one that's going to pay those people. And people write content on the internet for kind of two reasons. One is obviously for money, and the other one is for kind of notoriety. And if you're abstracted away from the notoriety, that's another reason why people will stop writing.
Put things into context, if people just lost the conversation, Cloudflare is now trying to be the knight of content creators or publishers all over the world, where the LLMs are now crawling and taking the data for themselves, and we have so much contest for the data, so nobody's actually respecting the privacy or the rights of publishers, and they're just taking the content, and until the courts will decide here or there, Cloudflare said, hey, I think like robots.txt, we need to do something equivalent and make sure that sites have the ability to take money or to ask for money if somebody wants to call them. And that's a mighty mountain you're now starting to climb.
Yeah, and I mean, really, we want to put the control in the publisher's hands, the content creator's hands, and give them control. So, first we added analytics for them to be able to understand what was happening, and then gave them controls with our bot mitigation tools to basically let them decide who gets access to their content, and then help a marketplace kind of get established, so that there's an easy way, a carrot for people that want to do want to compensate and pay and kind of do the right thing there, make it easy for them. And so
and on the other hand, you're adding more layers of infrastructure for content creators with WebRTC tools and more abilities to stream faster than ever. And I'm still looking for how Cloudflare is going to wrap everything with a bow and build a mighty tool for content creators that I still don't know how you're going to do it, but I have a feeling that you are.
I mean, I think we're hoping to going back to give those primitives to entrepreneurs out there to go build some of those things, for them. I mean, a lot of those are very vertical communities, and need very specific tooling, and I think would love to see companies building using those tools and wrapping them up and making it easy for those different communities to be able to take advantage of those things. So I don't know if that will be us, or that will be the next great startup out there that's doing that.
What do you see that really lights your imagination or enthusiasm right now? We talked about Liad, but what else do you see around edge computing that you saw emerging the last 12 months that took your attention?
I mean, I think it goes back to the agentic computing, like what agents are capable of doing, the need for the sandboxing and the ephemeral compute, be able to spin things up quickly, and how we give them all the tools in there to do everything easily. And so it's really trying to redefine how you build a platform that kind of meets LLMs where they are, but also with any new wave of computing paradigms, security then becomes a new issue. Obviously MCPs are great; they unlocked whole new ways of interacting with LLMs, but there's a lot of security issues with MCPs.
A lot. It's like I've seen in some of our developers, just the fact that with a mere press of a button, now our MongoDB cluster is open to the internet, and I'm not feeling very convenient with that. Just the options of mistakes, the opportunity to make critical mistakes with MCPs.
So I mean, you open, with all new technologies, you kind of move fast and you open up the possibilities, and then unfortunately, a lot of times security is an afterthought there, and but there's an opportunity for us to roll out tooling, which I think we will in the future, around MCP security.
Just as out-of-the-box security measures for companies offering MCPs to themselves and others?
Or, customers using our zero trust products that want to decide which MCPs and they make available to their employees, which tools, even, diving down into that within those, and have good audit and logs and a kind of traceability there to understand what's going on. I mean, the amount of shadow AI that's going on in companies is I think, is pretty horrific. That is, it's good that a lot of people are being allowed to kind of go experiment, but it is a landmine that is waiting to go off at some point.
What's your personal policy? Because I'm sure that internally in Cloudflare, so many developers right now are utilizing Cloud Code or Cursor or whatever, and I'm very fearful of the point where one day in the middle of the night something breaks and the developer that is on call doesn't really know the code and he supposedly wrote it.
So we've been very slow to adopt AI for internal uses because Cloudflare is built on trust, and we treat our customer data and our ability to deliver everything we do kind of paramount. And we didn't even feel comfortable with any external LLMs, even seeing the code or marketing material for a very long time. We've started to ease into it, and in very very controlled ways, where we started to do small pilots with actually on the developer side, some of our most senior engineers, to see how they could use it, and to kind of get their feedback and to kind of create policies. So we actually have a policy, as part of our AI policy, is no vibe coding. If you check
like a good policy to have, at least for me, the big time user, don't vibe code, please.
Yeah, and so I mean, and the key difference there is you can use it as a tool, as a thought partner, as to help you build. But when you check in code, you're the one putting your name next to it. It's no like, oh, the AI caused this bug. It's you hold the responsibility for what you're checking in, and so we started very slowly. We then pick some very select tools. So like we don't use most of the tools that you mentioned, just because we want to have tighter control of the data. Anything that we do, we put through our AI gateway, so that we do have auditability around everything. And a lot of these tools that you see getting built, and some of the things that are even coming out, like MCP security, were built first for ourselves. Right, we're trying to solve a problem for ourselves, and just building them in the tools in a way that will make them open to everyone to use. But no, we definitely have been slow to adopt. We see the power of it, but we also recognize without the right guardrails, very bad things can happen.
don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to help a lot of companies adapt AI while you understand the risks of running too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Having said that, the world is still advancing very, very fast, and the MCP notion is relatively new as well. And as a $70 billion market cap company, how fast can you run when things are changing so rapidly? Because you need to take bets on what is going to actually stick.
Well, I mean, part of that is the model that I described before. We have, different horizons of Cloudflare where, things that you have to deliver to customers, and then you have teams that can take lots of shots on goal, and we have the platform to make it easy for people to do that. So, some of it is not about trying to figure out upfront what's going to stick. It's just getting it out there and getting it built and seeing the reaction. But yeah, I think things are moving fast. We used to, focus more around delivering things during our innovation weeks. But have definitely kind of switched to just launch. Just, if it's ready, launch it. Because ship it, yeah. Because it's things are just moving too fast, and you want that feedback loop, and you want that learning, and if you wait, someone else might beat you to it, or by the time you launch it, it might not be the right thing anymore. So it's definitely kind of sped up. For a company that already delivered things, I think relatively fast, it is definitely kind of it forced us to even figure out how to move faster and get things in the hands of customers faster.
How fearful are you on a personal note now that you have the position of a CTO about a CrowdStrike-like incident? If I have to bet, or I have to pick like 4 or 5 companies in the entire world that if someone will fuck up internally, a CrowdStrike incident will happen, Cloudflare is one of those 5.
I mean, I think we, as I kind of mentioned before, trust, and we take all those things very seriously. Nobody's perfect, and so our goal is obviously to make sure that we are doing things in a safe manner and having good guardrails, and keeping the blast radius of problems small as possible, and ability to course correct very quickly, and make sure that there's kind of no one-way doors that are being taken. And then when things do happen, we want to be transparent, and we come out and we want to clearly say what happened, give the deep technical detail, and say how we're going to learn from it, and hopefully those learnings help other people as well too.
How does one do it in a day-to-day manner? Because I know like several companies of the hyperscalers, they just move slow. They just check and recheck and recheck everything. And Cloudflare is moving so fast, yet not a lot of incidents, at least as a user, I can vouch for it. How do you do it on the day-to-day? What's the magic sauce here?
So I think it's guardrails and blast radius. So like we can roll things out. When we roll something out, it first goes out to employees. It then goes out to different small slivers of traffic globally. It then goes out to free customers first, and then slowly works its way up the stack. And at each gate, our release manager is constantly measuring SLOs and can roll back if those SLOs are breached. And so hopefully you do those things with controls and automated controls in place, that if you do make a mistake, that they can get caught fast and can get remediated as quickly as possible.
I must assume that after so many years of doing new products in the manner that Cloudflare is doing, you have a lot of internal tools that you're using. Any thoughts about releasing those, or at least some of them, as new products or even open source?
So new products, yes. So I mean, a lot of the tooling around gradual releases and workers, that came from requirements internally of how we rolled other things out, and we needed it for rolling out workers for ourselves. So going forward, as we build more and more on the platform on top of ourselves, as we need the tooling, it will get built right in, and it'll get built in a way that anyone has access to it. In general, like our open source policies, we like to open source libraries, not applications. What's that?
Why is that? Why is that the decision you took?
Because I think that focuses us on solving kind of the lower order bits, the hard problems there, and letting people that can understand how to build those into their own applications, and happy to support an engineer that's trying to integrate one of those things. But applications are a lot of responsibility when you release an application, and just the community and the users, and that's just not our core business. Our core business is building our infrastructure, and and as we can release libraries, that makes sense. I mean, we have several, I think over 500 repos open on GitHub, so and so it's not a short for things to release. It's just releasing things that we think that will be sustainable for us supporting publicly.
That trust factor that you're keeping, is that one of the reasons that you are not as aggressive on M&A as other companies? Just not don't want to rely on a new code base or something that you can vouch for?
Well, it's actually more about, our architecture is very unique. Running a global anycast network where every machine runs every piece of code and can answer any request and deliver any product. That is one of our superpowers, and because we're completely horizontally scalable, then and if you start to bolt on products on the side, you start to quickly end up with like a Frankenstein architecture that you lose what made you kind of special there. And very few companies, since very few companies are built like us, most times it require replatforming, and replatforming is a quick way to kill a company, an acquisition. And but we have made a lot of smaller acquisitions of people building things on workers, because
Even
those are very
and others,
those are very easy to consume because they're already on our platform, and we can quickly integrate them and have them, keep them focused on building out their product as opposed to focusing on replatforming.
Yeah, but something like an EDR company or something like that won't be on the table.
I don't see us doing that, something like that. No.
Because I'm seeing like what Palo Alto is doing, and they're trying to verticalize all over the place. And I'm not sure as a customer if they're not taking it maybe one step across the board, where if you're doing more and more, you can't excel at it. You'll be mediocre, and it's a play for just lowering the cost as you bundle. But
and it'll be a very fragmented user experience. The products, you won't be really getting 1 + 1 = 3, especially with security products. If they're not tightly integrated, the data that helps you make decisions, if it's siloed, you just lose a lot of the value there.
Where do you see Cloudflare in the next 5 years?
I see us continuing to be part of the fabric of the internet, and hopefully delivering a lot of new products that continue to surprise people and bring them more value, and continue to grow. It's been here 14 years, and there's been no slowing down.
You're still excited to go to work? Still excited to work on new projects?
Every day. Having a platform where you can release things and you get millions of users giving you feedback instantaneously. Having a platform where you can work with browser vendors to solve something that might shave off 10 20, 30 milliseconds on a request, and
times 10 billion a day.
Yeah, and just to be able to have impact like that is kind of unparalleled.
Do you think now the LLMs are going to switch that? Now you need to work with the LLMs on reducing time for them?
So I mean, we're actually going to double down on people. Like, I mean, I think you'll hear us launch a pretty ambitious intern program sometime in the fall. We think LLMs are actually a great accelerant to people, but not something that's going to replace people in the near term.
Yeah, but only experience-wise, when it was only browsers, every second mattered. That was the big promise of AMP and other architecture decisions that Google made and other companies, because under 180 milliseconds, that's one world, and above that, that's another world. And with LLMs, it seems like we took like 40 years back step, and now I don't mind waiting 5 minutes to get an answer if it's a good reasoning model, or 30 seconds, and something changed.
Well, I think I think the amount of research and that's been spent on actually the inference side is tiny compared to what's been spent on the training side, and I think some of that was just there was just so much money out there that they didn't have to worry about that. But as more and more money is spent on training, and people want to see the business returns and the ROI on that, you'll see. I mean, the amount of inference is gone up exponentially in the past year, and you do see that even like ChatGPT, the GPT-5, it's one of its biggest innovations is the speed and the cost that it was able to do, and so I do think you'll see people pivoting to things that can reduce the time, the cost, and to delivering the inference.
Yeah, I think people are underestimating the price factor in that decision to use ChatGPT just to auto-pick the right model for people. But the blowback was so immense. It's hard producing products for so many people that every one of them has 3 opinions that they share on X.
Yeah,
at least that's
absolutely.
one thing that Cloudflare can do without. You're more on the infrastructure side.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's a blessing and a curse, because it took you a lot of time to reach that state, but you're more stable at it.
Mhm.
Do you have any ideas about going B2C, or you love where you're at?
I mean, we do have the consumer report product, and that we launched a while ago, and it's not something that we focus on, but yeah, I mean, most great tech companies have some consumer ambitions, and but we have a lot more to go on where we are today.
Okay, that was a real pleasure. And before we finish, I'll just gonna ask you for recommendations. That's usually something that I ask guests. Something good that you read, heard, listened to, watched, anything that you wanna recommend to our viewers or listeners?
What have I?
Anything, no censorship here.
No.
I took you off guard.
Yeah. I don't have a good answer. Yeah. I mean, the Cloudflare blog is obviously my favorite place to go read about things. There'll be times where I'll learn about things that I didn't even realize we were building, just because things are moving so fast. So.
Is it different now that you're one of the C-levels, and you learn that you're doing something new, and you're just thinking to yourself, I was not informed about that?
Oh no, I love it. I mean, we love people that take ownership and know how to drive things to completion, and can get things over the line. So I mean, those are all very good signs.
So you can be like one of us users and just be amazed at the stuff that Cloudflare is doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Okay, Dane, thank you very, very much for the time. You've been very generous, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you.